Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Myth Busting here in the Myth Busting world, and it is time for some more mini myths, which is where we take smaller questions about the game and answer them in this one episode. And we've got 8 mini myths, most of which are related to 1.11. I think 1 or 2 are technically not, but they're all very interesting questions. And if you've got any of your own, anything you want to know about this game, leave them in the comments down below. I will go through and pick out my favourites for a future episode in the series. Our first question is to do with the Illagers. You wanted to know if the Evokers would drop the Totem of Undying when they're not killed by a player. I've got a feeling this is going to be the easiest test that we do today. And there it is, a Totem of Undying. There are other ways to kill Evokers as well, like with TNT. And you might be wondering, what happens when another mob attacks the Evoker? Let's set a wither on this guy. He's going to fight back with his Vexes, which is pretty cool. And there it is, the Totem of Undying. I'm looking forward to this next one because it's going to be kind of silly. We want to know, what is the death message if you get killed by a llama? Because of course a llama has a spit attack, and if it kills a player, does it have its own custom death message? So I have 1 heart of health, and these llamas will attack for half a heart. I am wearing no armor. If I punch the guy, he's going to spit at me. There we go, down to half a heart. And this is where the llama loses interest. Each and every time I've tried this, they then just wander off. So if we give him a slap again, we'll give him a little reminder, and he'll attack me one more time, and no custom death message. Asuma was slain by a llama. I don't know about you, but I feel like there's an opportunity there for a very funny message for something that won't happen too often in this game. So if you've got an idea, leave it as a comment down below, and if we get some really good suggestions, we could post it to the Reddit. Maybe Mojang would see it, and we could have a humorous little message added to the game. So a recent change to firework rockets means that they can damage the player when they explode, and an intelligent question was asked here: does blast resistance protect you from those firework explosions? So here's the test. We've got ourselves a firework rocket down here, which is going to explode. We've got a ceiling so that we're going to be next to where the firework will explode. In this chest we have a set of diamond armor, so we can measure how much damage we actually take in terms of hearts when we're wearing that. And then we have the same set of diamond armor, except each piece has blast protection on. So if we see us taking less hearts of damage when we're wearing this, it should be an indicator that it does make a difference. Now there's a reason I put the platform here. What we're going to do is stand in the middle, look directly down, and then when we fire the rocket, it's going to get caught on the ceiling above us, and it's going to explode directly here. It's pretty consistent, but we can expect to see either 1 heart of damage or half a heart. So half that time, half again, then 1 heart, then half a heart, then 1. This is the exact same way it happened a moment ago. That is quite interesting. That will be 1 heart. Wow, fascinating. I'm going to have to do that one more time. We are taking damage in the exact same way again. It's going to be 1 heart, then it's going to be half a heart, then it's going to be 1 heart. Our observations there are to be repeated. As I explode these, you'll see we take no damage. But after this third one, we are then going to take half a heart of damage. So watch it now. In comes half a heart. This is pretty consistent that there is a pattern to when we take damage. That's something I need to investigate in another episode of Myth Busting. But right now, we came here to ask one question. Does the blast resistance make a difference? And the answer is clearly yes, because we're taking a lot less damage when we have blast resistance on. This next question is one I'm fairly sure the answer to is no, but we're able to do a more accurate test than previously possible with the use of the firework rocket, so I think it's worth a try. If you're flying around with your elytra wings and you go above water and you have Frostwalker on your boots, is it possible to turn the water into frosted ice? That is the question. I'm going to set up an experiment and see if we can find out. The cool thing about these videos is editing. I can cut out all of the painful testing I have to do for you guys. The truth is, though, that I actually really enjoy doing the testing. And what I've done here is stood on a block and created Frostwalker around me. I'm thinking this might be the height you need to stand at. We are at exactly 106. And my theory is that the closer we can fly to that number above the water, the better chance we have of making the frosted ice. Now, it could just be that the game code is looking to see if you're standing on a block, and that's why it's not possible. And I'll tell you now, unfortunately, it isn't possible. But let me show you how I did the testing. So here's what I've been doing. I've been flying along in this world and I have a rocket here that lasts for a very long time, so I can just continue flying with a boost. Then what we do is we teleport ourselves and we use two different numbers. One of them is the Y value. This puts us 1.5 blocks above the water, and the other one controls the pitch that we look up and down at, which means we control the rate of descent downwards towards the water. And the idea here is to get that rate as low as possible. Now, it can be a little bit unpredictable, and I've done this many times, but every now and then you find a rate of descent which is a lot slower than we were going that time. To explain it with some different words, we are going downwards as slow as possible as we glide across the top of the water, and that's to get as close to that same coordinate that we make frosted ice when we stand on land. And not once have I seen it make frosted ice. It's also possible, by the way, to actually swim directly across the water at the same height, like we're doing right now. And I did mention that there was something unpredictable about this. When you teleport to different pitches, that's looking up and down, you do not get consistent results with the rate of descent, the rate that you're going down to the water at. It seems to be dependent on how long you've boosted for. If you've been flying for longer, it's easier to get an accurate teleport that will take you down to the water slower. But that's about everything I'm going to show you. It could be that I'm wrong. I've done the best testing I can think of. I've spent a fair amount of time on it, and I think it's time to move on. This next one amused me greatly, so much so I said we have to try that in the next one that we do. I got a question asking if we shot ourselves with a bow and we had thorns free on all of our armor, would we be able to do thorns damage to ourselves? Because of course we're shooting the bow up into the sky and the arrow is going to land on our face. Our first job is to demonstrate that thorns will work with a projectile. So we've got a skeleton over there who's going to shoot an arrow at us, and we've got thorns free on all of this armor. So I'm going to stand here. He's going to notice me, there we go, and shoot me, and bam, did you see him take damage? Let's do it one more time. He takes damage again. He takes damage every single time. So can we activate the Thorns enchantment on ourselves? The answer is no. I have been standing here like a prat, shooting myself, as you would do to find out, and I've been swapping through various different sets of armor to see if the Thorns will do any extra damage. And it really didn't look like it at all. There was no difference whatsoever. And then it kind of hit me that the Thorns makes a sound when it's activated, and I've never heard that sound when testing it on myself. I believe we may have encountered a bug. That is the sound of the Thorns enchantment. I have not heard it once, and I've since been testing this on myself again and on other mobs. It's supposed to make that sound when the Thorns is activated, but for some reason it's not. But we can conclude that this isn't working, because at no point did I ever take extra damage from the Thorns enchantment when we used it on ourselves. Question number 6. Do cobwebs slow you down when you're boosted with a firework rocket? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does slow you down, but you knew that already, didn't you? Which is why I've done the testing. I've been flying into this thing and recording me doing so I could measure the distance that we travelled, and I've got the numbers for you. You travel at 4.22 blocks per second when you're going through the cobwebs and you're boosted, and that's 13% of the normal speed when you're going through the air like this. So it is 87% slower when you go through cobwebs. And here's another one to do with custom death messages like the llama. If we fall onto a shulker and die, is there any special death message? Because you could technically say we were killed by the shulker. And the answer is... no, Asuma fell from a high place. I think this is another opportunity for Mojang to add an interesting death message. They say save the best for last, and I think this one will be really useful if you like to do flying, especially in water. We're going to find out if the Depth Strider enchantment will remove the resistance that water provides when you fly through it using a boosted rocket. It's just occurred to me that if you haven't seen the last episode of Myth Busting, then what I just said about the previous myth and what I'm about to say about the next one may not be something you just want to take my word for, because how have I done that? Well, in the last one we crunched all of the numbers and figured out all of this math. And basically I've done the same tests again and looked at the math and found out what the dealio is. So Depth Strider enchantment, we got that, but underwater we will actually be travelling at the same speed as if we didn't have Depth Strider. So if you want to know how I did the math for that, go and check out the previous episode of Myth Busting. And so that concludes this episode of Myth Busting and our 8 mini myths. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box down below. I'll be sure to read them. As always, thank you for your support. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye bye.